Hello and welcome to another episode of Alan Writes. We're continuing on with the Winter of Truth. I think this is episode 11, fairly certain about that. We're going to be moving on to chapter 3, because I feel like moving on to chapter 3. Chapters are kind of arbitrary breakups of things, and you don't really have to care that much about which is a chapter and which isn't in the first draft. It's all kind of fluid. It's helpful to think in those terms, but not required. So, so she was certain she was going to get. She realized that some of her stuff had been stolen. That a Lieutenant Jeloth, because I've named him now, had taken her stuff, and that she was going to need to get it back. So she's kind of going over his head. So when she goes to the meeting with the colonel, the commander of the base, she's going to ask for it, and we're going to skip all that and just head right to Colonel Cosman. Peered down his nose at her. No to both requests. Venara hadn't expected that. That, or the chilly reception. Well, the chilly reception. Well, the chilly reception, yes. But the stubbornness of the commander. That neither word is spelled correctly. There was something else. When thieves acquired something, you didn't expect them to give a slice to the in charge of justice. Ha ha, she's an Imperial girl. She doesn't understand this yet. So, of justice. So, the sorry, someone was at my door and I've lost my train of thought. Again, your biggest problem with writing is going to be other people interrupting you, because it's going to happen and you're going to lose your train of thought. So, it's requisitioned, then. I can fill out the paperwork, she asked. It was more a threat than a request. She was a civilian. She was a civilian. She was a civilian, but one employed for a military contractor. Court Yard did a lot of work for the Empire, and the chances that they'd bother seeing this through instead of writing it off were low. Practically non-existent. She knows a little bit of this takes place. She can't be completely naive. I don't have enough time to walk her through full naivete. It's in fact acceptable in this thriller that she has a bit of sarcasm, where she's going to be able to pick up on things quickly and gather her own agency rather than have to stumble through it all and to try to figure out what she's going to do from nothing. So, I would rather you not. Yeah. You'll have to forgive my my mouse. I'm using an old mouse because my new mouse is having issues. I'd rather you not. Colonel Carsman said. It would put a dampener on our relations. Now then, aside from to charge one crime for supposed crimes and you misplacing your gear, what can I help you with? Nothing. Nothing. I've got my workspace and putting it to use. Though I may need a hauler for some of the larger pieces of you intend to drag an AT-AT carcass into my base. Then asked. Alright, he settled into the chair behind his desk. Propped his feet up beside an ample space heater. I just want to show that he's living in luxury, essentially. He's got his own room, and he's got a heater, which is what you expect from the base commander. You didn't. His feet came back down to the floor, the carpeted floor. And he rose to his full height, almost an inch taller than her, though she suspected lifts. He was a fussy old man with fatigue in his bones. He was a fussy old man with fatigue in them. Right away. Perfect for a sleepy backwater world. Though Hoth was certainly neither of those. Not with the ever-present cold that clearly got to him. That clearly got to him. Even opening the door had sent him scurrying for warmth. Of course, she said. She said, how else? Screwing around with the grammar there. How else? How else am I going to analyze it? Can't do it in the field. Too cold. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? Too cold? Yes. Replied. But I won't have one of my bays taken up by debris. You'll have to find somewhere else. Where? Outside? I already covered that. There's always the rebel base. It isn't completely destroyed. You can use their hangar. You can use their hangar. Said and gave a grin. Alright, it's time for a little rebel action. Now, if I have the rebels in the base, looting stuff to get out, no, then we don't do the base. We do the one of the outposts, one of the Imperial outposts, an observation post. Yes, there we go, an observation post. There's room there. And not all. There's room there. There are two. Siren again. Even through the thick walls. An alert of some kind, and any thought that it might be a drill fled when she saw Carsman's eyes widen. The frick? The hawk? The hawk? The hawk is that? Alright, he for the door, pausing only to shuck on let's make him a little more heroic. He may be in the way, but he's not a complete dick. Only to grab his heavy coat, tugging it on as he went. She followed out into the extended office where his men typed and consolidated reports. They fell in behind him as well, scrabbling to grab gloves and hats. All right, who was that major? Who was that major that we used? Major something. Have I screwed up all the names now? Major Gallic. Okay. Gallic was still in the communications, the battle center. Still in the battle center. Still in the battle center. Focused on a set of screens. Several of those. Were dark. Major. Colonel, see, I've already forgotten his name. You'll do that a lot. The important part is on the second edit, you make sure all the names are the same and none of them change around, and you don't accidentally swap genders for people or something bizarre like that, because it can happen. It can happen, but, good editing calls that out. Major. Called out. What is going on? Rebels. Rebels, sir. Gallic replied. They've struck. Observation Tower 5. The crew, the garrison. The crew is. It's not good, sir. It's not good. There were grenades. Blast. Exclaimed. The ready response unit. The ready response unit. Forming up. See to it personally. Congressman said. Ordered. Because you can. Sure. Gallic saluted and hurried off, rushing past Fanara. See her. All right. No one really did. No one really did. It was like she'd become invisible. A character from some silly no one needed her advice. No one needed her skills. And she made sure not to be in their way. She made sure not to be in their way. The images on screen were confused. There was smoke. There were confused. It was a distant view of a typical observation tower. Open-faced in large part, but with welded sections to cut out the wind. There was smoke, there were figures moving about. Some of them were dragging containers, others carrying another one. Two were dragging containers, one cradled several blaster rifles. Then there came a flash of movement. A speeder zoomed in. And speeder zoomed in. And it's a brand of speeder. Alright. From back before the ventral refit. The back hatch opened, and the figures hoisted their loot inside. They got in and were gone. And zoomed off, outdistancing, slipping from sight. Slipping from sight. Slipping from sight. Some of the sensors of the other towers, and disappearing into the endless ice. Naturally, Cosman cursed under his breath. Another monitor showed, what are they going to use? They're going to use something fast. These aren't assault vehicles, so it's not going to be ATSTs, it's not going to be rollers, it's going to be their own. Showed of heavy hover tanks heading out. Major Gallic, a figure, Major Gallic. Possibly Major Gallic scrambled onto the back of one and slipped inside before they rumbled off. Okay. Too late. Reset the footage. Show me how they got in. Carsman said. Yeah, reset the footage. Show me how they got in, Colonel Carsman said. Okay. Told the text. They did as he asked. As he asked. And revealed Oh, the rebels got in. Walked in. Using the bright sun. To blind the cameras, the sensors. Using the bright sun to blind the sensors. It was just a bold stroll. Them. Once they got close enough, the observation team, which hadn't been outside, proved to be no match for a sudden rush of blasters and grenades. And then grenades. I can't, for a sudden rush of blasters and then grenades. The last half of the footage of the recording. They don't use footage. Last half of the recording with culminating in their escape played out some more. Played out once more. Same outcome. Same moments, same outcome. Two dead soldiers, and the criminals went free. Okay, so the last half. Okay, so obviously this is quite a thing. It's actual violence. Absolutely terrifying to her soul. Carsman seemed to notice her then. Didn't seem to. A lot of writers use seemed or about or kind of qualifiers because you're not quite sure what you're writing, but it's best to be direct and remove those unless they're there for a reason. Noticed her then. Returned. Perhaps you should consider heading home. I've got a job to do, she said. At the words. The rebels can't win. I can't let them. You will not be fully protected inside their own base, inside the remains. Their own base. Nothing can be guaranteed. It's probably not how you spell it. That is correct. Guaranteed is another word that I have. Yeah, guaranteed. Nothing can be guaranteed. Understand. I understand. But my team and I will need the space and will do the work. Your team. Ah, yes. I almost forgot. They've been They've been delayed. Delayed? Shipping shortage. Not much heading to Hoth. You understand? Now, this is the army kind of blocking ways. Army transports are rare. Army transports are not so plentiful that they can make regular runs. He explained. And his tone clipped. As if talking to a child. So, will you go? The last transport is still in orbit. And I can arrange a shuttle. No. Alright, this is the moment. This is the threshold moment. Does she want to stay or go? It's harder than it looks. Obviously she's going to stay or we don't have a story. So, what's her rationale? I can arrange a shuttle. Made it sound so easy. So... too easy. Too easy. She wasn't a child. She wasn't some little girl with hopes of heroics on the rim to make her a legend. She was an engineer and she had a job to do. No matter if she had to do it alone. My place is here, analyzing battle damage, so that to save the lives of those yet to fight. I can't leave until that's done, she said. Do we give her grudging respect? Carsman shrugged. Very well. I can respect that. But your mission is not mine, he said, and swept a hand across the monitor stations where the still smoldering remains of the observation post remained. The heavy hover tanks were just lumbering into view. Again, too late. Dismissed. Alright, now she gets to work. Finara gets to work. Over a period of days, heads out to ADATS, makes a survey, gathers hull pieces and blast points, Then she wants to. Okay. And she wants to haul out an entire head and neck of an AT-AT. No transport. She fixes damaged rebel cargo lifter. Gets to work. Sets up shop in the Rebel Bay. Cold, but no wind. The spot of hate. All right, so there we go. That's what we're going to be writing next time. I'm pretty sure about that. All right, but anyway, this has been Alan Wright's number 11 of The Winter of Truth. I hope you've enjoyed this little soiree diversion into writing. Taking a look at how it all is put together on the first draft and how messy it is. Because lots is going to have to change and, can remove the boring parts and put more excitement in. This is a thriller after all, and at some point we're going to have some thrills. So, I hope you all have enjoyed this, and I hope that you stay safe and have a good day. Thanks.